Hi and welcome to the Market Alert for Thursday, the 26th of June 2025. Crypto and mega caps rise as dismal data drags rate cut odds higher. Uncertainty down. Bad news is good news. Makes a comeback. Yes, we've had this before many times where the news is bad. It's good news because Powell may actually cut rates. You say that, and then you read these headlines: stocks and bonds chop as Powell sticks to script, which means that he's not going to cut rates, and if he is, he's only going to do it once this year. And then finally, US stocks were ultimately mixed as the Nasdaq 100 was the one major index to close with gains again yesterday. US stocks were ultimately mixed as the Nasdaq was the one major index to close with the gains. That's just a repetition of the top, which is slightly odd, but there you go. Right, economic news today. If there's some bad news, it's going to be good news. So we've got the Bank of England Governor Bailey speaking at, he's already 12 p.m. today. Yeah, 12 p.m. I thought it was midnight last night, but it's not. And 1:30 final GDP for the US, which looks to be down slightly there. Unemployment claims, core durable goods orders, final GDP price and pending home sales, and ECB President Lagarde will be speaking at 7:30 p.m. this evening. So let's have a look at these choppy markets from yesterday. It seems to be a pattern at the moment, so let's have a look and kick off with the Dow. So yesterday's Dow was an inside bar. The market didn't take out the previous day's high or low, but is sideways to higher. It still needs to move up to the upside to take out the 43,121 resistance it has to the left, where there was some selling before the market moved lower, and then found support at the 50 EMA before moving back to the upside. So a very quiet day for the Dow yesterday. And in the 30-minute chart, you can see we're down in the electronic market, and the cash market followed suit there before prices rebounded overnight with the futures market and currently trading back above the DP there. Meanwhile, in Germany, it's a bit of weakness still. We're above the 50 EMA and the 5-bar moving average at the moment, but we are trading below the 20-bar moving average, so we're sort of sandwiched between the averages. The 5 is above the 50, which is encouraging, starting to move prices to the upside. The momentum is still to the upside. It just doesn't want to do anything too much at the moment, but it will play catch up like it always does. In the 30-minute chart, you can see there yesterday we sold from the open, and that's the way it's remained. We haven't retested yesterday's low overnight. At the moment, we're actually above the close and sitting at the 50 EMA. We need to take out the DP in order to move back to the upside to the R1 and to yesterday's high. And in the S&P 500, still heading and gunning for the 61.47 level. The market very quiet yesterday, but up on the overnight, already determined to try and take this create a new all-time high, not take it out. Watch for the high in the S&P. We're subject to some profit taking too. Came down to the DP. A lot of volume there, and then the market reversing. So obviously some buying inside of that main selling bar, and then off back to the upside above the close and the DP overnight, and the averages there 50 below the 20 and the 5 above this, which the market is currently above. In the FT100, there's still a bit of a downtrend going on here. Lower highs each day. 50 EMA is where the market's currently trading. Can it get back above this? Let's have a look in a bit more detail. We're actually trading down at yesterday's low, and the market is trying to maintain and stay there. We are sort of overbought in the 30-minute time frame. May get a retest of this on the open, and also depends what Bailey says at midday as well. So in the US dollar, the market is lower, and it's taken out the support to the left on 2 occasions now. So it needs to either continue lower to bring the metals prices up, but with war, we can soon get a spike back to the upside, just as we have here over the last few days. But now the ceasefire is supposed to be in place. How long for? Who knows? These things tend not to happen. It seems to be a bit of a roundabout type of thing with ceasefires, doesn't it? In 1 minute they're imposed, the next minute they're broken, and then again a new ceasefire. So it's just a continuing situation with those. Right, let's have a look at the metals. And not a bad day yesterday for silver, reversing and moving back to the upside. Now looks like it's set to have another go at 37.3. However, it is the day before Smackdown Friday, when silver prices tend to be hammered. But we'll just have to wait and see, won't we? But it's starting to look good. And I have to say, even the Smackdown days now are nothing like they used to be. In the 30-minute chart, we had the market moving lower to begin with. But even London couldn't smash the price, and maybe even bought it. And then prices moving higher. And then in Asia also moving to the upside as well. And taking out yesterday's or the previous day's high as well. In the gold market, a bit of a shine's gone off the gold market at the moment. Sitting at the 50 EMA, needs to take out the 5 and the 20 in order to move higher. It will come back with a vengeance. Gold's time is normally late summer, August, etc., somewhere around there, so we'll see. And then the 30 minutes of gold was down. In Asia, we're seeing prices being lifted a bit, and there's the stopping volume down at the bottom there, and also on the top at the moment we're seeing some spikes of red and purple there, with a bit of supply coming into the market. Right, so have a quick look at the gold silver ratio. And as I said in Friday's alert, when we had that gap with the breakout of war, when Israel decided to bomb. That was right. The market was down. And then Monday, this is where the market gapped, when Israel decided to unilaterally bomb Iran, and the gap has now been filled. So you can see that there as well. So it'll be interesting to see if prices can resume and get down to where they were prior to the bombing of Iran last weekend. So let's have a look at the trades for yesterday. We say it's choppy at the moment, but let's have a quick look. So in the pre-market session, we see prices moving higher. That's not uncommon at the moment, and we're seeing that at the moment. That means there's no cash sellers around. However, they turned up at 8 a.m, as you'll see there, with prices moving lower down to the DP. Tries to hold at this level. You get a bit of a cluster of volume as well. But unfortunately, prices don't hold. They stay below the DP there, and then return back below the 5-bar moving average, so keeping the downside intact. Again, we try to come back. The 20-bar moving average is nowhere to be seen near price at the moment, and it's also crossed through the 50 and the 200. As prices then become stable for a moment or two, they come up and have a look at the 20-bar moving average. Still find support at the psychological level, the BRN, before then that is smashed through and prices continue lower. And you can see there how the trend is so strong to the downside with the 5-bar moving average. We then get a bit of a reprieve. Profit taking comes into the market. We actually get through the 20-bar and the psychological level. But this is short-lived, as the market then comes back, takes out the stop before it's filled, and prices then put in another sell signal, and prices move to the downside, as you can see there, failing to close above the 20-bar moving average on each occasion, as it sees short covering and profit taking. And then just as we get towards the 10 a.m. cutoff, you'll see prices now beginning to become stable. We've got some buying here, but this, unlike the previous occasions, this one seems to hold, and prices then moving back to the upside before further selling comes into the market, as you'll see in just a moment, and down all the way to the previous day's low. This time we get a bit of a bounce. We start to see a bit of green as well, and we trade this time up to the 50 MA, where the market then finds a bit of a problem, which you'll see there as prices move back down and retest the low. So coming back through the 20-bar moving average there as well. And say you've got that resistance at the 50. Now getting a bit of volume coming in there at the low, because we know they like to bring the market back above the low if they can, and on this occasion they do quite successfully as prices move to the upside. Notice also over here to the left, it's all tested there as well, big spike in volume. And then we head into the US session, which obviously we saw sell off to begin with, and there we see the same thing here, trading back down to the lows to the left there. So let's roll through this. Again, we're back at the lows. You see the green bars coming in when we're at the low. The market doesn't want to get back above that 50. It's always interesting to watch this on a day that you get a down day in the market. The 50 EMA and the 20 simple average holds the market trend. So down to the low of the previous day, we get a potential buy which is failed because the market hits the stop before it then fills on the second one. That doesn't last for long either, as the market wants to come back and have another look at the low. And now we just take out everybody's stop that would be long from here. If you hadn't moved the stop, we just take that out, and then you'll see the volume spike there. And then we move back to the low because it's like a magnet, and they want to try and keep the prices above this if they can, even on a down day. And here you see once more we get some selling coming into the market and another spike to the downside in just a moment. Again, trying to get back above the low and the 20 bar moving average, but failing. And then again we slam down, and then we come back and we get stuck in this sideways pattern for the remainder of the evening there. So yeah, an interesting day yesterday, dominated by the 50 and 20 bar moving averages on the downside, and then moving back up in the evening. Notice how the 200 MA there hits prices, and now we're into around 7 p.m. just as the US traders come back from lunch. Not that we normally trade this, but it's an interesting pattern and also an interesting spike down there. Right, so have a quick look at where we are overnight, and as I say, we're already moving to the upside. No surprise there whatsoever. Yesterday's low is down here. May have had a decent enough shakeout to keep prices moving to the upside. The DP is the target to be taken out. As I record, the 250, 20, and 5 MA are all in the same order. They're widening out, so there's a bit of momentum to the upside there. Will it last? I suspect not. When the market opens, it tends to have a bit of a sell, and that's because they're using the futures prices to lift the stock prices in the cash market for 8 a.m. And then, of course, they can sell into that with that added bonus of having moved prices slightly higher just to enhance them in order to fill those sell orders. Okay, that's it for this one. Let's see what happens during today. There's quite a bit of economic news out. The war front seems to have, or war news has gone quiet, which is a relief. No doubt still going on, of course, but behind the scenes, but we'll just have to wait and see. Anyway, on that cheery note, have a great day, and as ever, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.